of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
May Jesus' peace and on the blessing within the body of Christ presence. We want to thank you to the audience for viewing this program this evening. We hope you've been educated and enlightened through what we've saying thus far. Our topic this evening, we're dealing with the signs of the time the Lord is manifesting, that things are coming to pass has been said. One of the things that we recognize here in this particular city, this region north, the Lord has spoken about it in prophecy through Nostradamus about the new city being built up. You know, when the sign of 9/11, the city been telling the smoke going out and over towards the new city, and that we've been recognizing, young people have been calling this place for a long time, the New Jerusalem, and A.H.A.D has sent down now that it's the new city of peace. But we've seen a lot of things taking place since that time, that all these A.H.A.D gave the Holy Apostles all these prophecies. You see people now coming into the new city who are leaving the old city of peace. You know, those who know what the old city of peace is in Jerusalem and Israel, by and large now are taking a great interest in this particular region, this particular area, because they know that the Lord had promised that the sign would take place today. And with that, may we all, you know, throw our hat in the thing and deal with the top of your hand.
Signs that has been ignored for some time as well. We want to talk about the outgoing so-called leaders of the city, who had at least some opportunity to have some control, some say-so, a lot of say-so in the city, and what direction the city would go in and whose hands supposedly the city would be in to control it, but they sat there and for many selfish and political gains just went about their business and spent 20 and 30 years in office, and then after it was time for them to leave, they didn't even have any people that believed, not that they believed, to come and take over the city to lead the people.
Well, you got to realize that they're involved with the religion of politics.
Yes.
And the religion of politics is always offensive or opposing to the religion of truth.
Yes, right.
You know, and A.H.A.D had said, you know, I said back in 1998, and even further, well, some of you may not have known further, but that Newark would be taken. You know, that A.H.A.D first said that they're rebuilding the city for the chosen people, but they're not aware of the fact that they're rebuilding it for the chosen people. Now, as people believe what they see, they believe, most of the people believe that this is not a chosen city, that what I say is something that's conjured up or conjecture, make believe, and but they see the Jews, you know, Judaized people coming in running rampant throughout North, buying up North. Now, A.H.A.D showed me something a few years ago with the mayor and him hanging out with those people in the suburban cities above North, in the old North Mountains, which is, you know, Livingston and what have you. And A.H.A.D caused me to realize that he was part of that plan. You see. Now, I'm not going to get too specific on it because it don't even matter. But the people are seeing for themselves what was said by the Lord about this place being taken, and it will be taken by one that looks like them. And the thing about it is, another thing that A.H.A.D has pointed out to me is the prophecy, not just in the book of Revelation, but in the Holy Quran, that's relative to the new holy city. In the book of Revelation, it talks about how they would fight against the chosen one. And A.H.A.D said that they would fight against the chosen one in this city. And when in the Holy Quran, it talked about the signs of the times in this new day and time. And the thing that, you know, people need to recognize that in the Holy Quran, it mentioned the blue-eyed.
Yes.
It would also take down the blue-eyed people, or the blue-eyed one. All right? Now, the blue-eyed one, it didn't say the blue-eyed Caucasian. It said the blue-eyed one. And by Isa pointing out to me prophecy in the Holy Quran that's relative to me, you, and the people of this region, then here it is with the blue-eyed one. Now, I'm not trying to be offensive or what have you, but the thing about it is, you know, I'm not here to make companions or compromises with the enemies of the Lord Most High. But when the Lord writes prophecy, when it sends down His holy words in the holy books, people have a tendency to look back into time, and they can't relate to it, and they take it as like what the Christians have made Jesus seem like He's walking on air all the time, something inhuman, non-human, and so they can't relate. But the Lord said that everything it writes in all His books of holiness is meant for the world. Whereas the people who translate the Holy Quran and those who are the so-called keepers of the Holy Quran, they make it seem as though the prophecy in the Holy Quran is for the life hereafter. It's for the spirit realm, in the life hereafter, in the unseen realm. But no, that what is written in the Holy Quran is for this day and time. And Prophet Muhammad knew that. But the thing about it was Prophet Muhammad could only speak and say what the Lord Most High gave him to speak and say, or write, have somebody write for him, and much of that is about this day and time, which runs in conjunction with what's written in Malachi and what's written in the book of Revelation and in other books of the Bible, what's relative to us now, and for the people that don't believe that the messenger of Isa, Allah Al-Min-Ra, or Jehovah, or whatever you want to call the Lord Most High, if you don't believe that this messenger is here, myself, and you don't believe that the Lord has materialized in essence of the things that it's doing with the angels in nature, then you are the blind one. And eventually, you're going to see the devil manifested in men when they completely take you by their ways out of your comfort zones, out of your homes, out of your land, and put you under the laws of their political religion.
So, Lord, Holy Queen Mother, you said when looking at the city today, you're looking at the progress, so-called material progress. You got arenas going up, you got new buildings, and all this media about the growth of the city, the new renaissance and the like. You say that the people are blinded by that material thing, and where is it that they should be wary that this thing is occurring in their?
Well, first of all, if you're a people that always felt that you was deprived, when you see certain things, you think that you're moving on up, so to speak. And the best way, one of the ways the devil works, if you watch people, when you have a child, most times people like to give child sweets because they know children love sweets. When they're trying to pacify them to shut up or to be quiet or take a nap, or they do certain things to the child that they know that the child would distract the child to comply with what they're trying to do. Well, that's what they have done with the city of Newark.
The people.
The people. They was patient. They let things run its turn, and they let the riot take place, and they waited till the smoke cleared, and they waited till people got comfortable again.
And they want people to forget about the riot.
And they want people to forget. Well, they structured it so you could forget about the riot. Your children go to schools in the city of Newark or the surrounding areas, because the surrounding areas is important that they get this information as well. And they never, nothing is mentioned about the riots. The riots was something that was worldwide publicized. But there's nothing mentioned in your school system this day about the riots.
And it was historical, that's what you said.
Right, it was historical, but it's not mentioned in the school system. So what they do is, because we ignore things, so they pacify us. They give us picnics, they give us Christmas parties, they give us government cheese, peanut butter. We want to tell the truth. They give us a little free this or free that, and see, we get caught up in that free thing. I told you, nothing is never free. So while they rocking us to sleep like you do your child, they constantly taking over. They know this is a rich a rich area. They know this. They know that what was written before.
And let me tell you
and they
something.
know, wait a minute, they know that the grace of the Lord has been taken away from their people in the East. They're not fools. These people are well educated in their religious beliefs.
Oh, definitely.
So their whole thing is, okay, we ain't got to stay in Jerusalem. We ain't like African American people.
Yeah.
I ain't got to stay in this condemned house forever. I got to go get a new house.
Right.
So what do? They laying off people by the hundreds, taking away. No, you ain't got housing authority. Corrupt. That's the first thing they said. Corrupt. It probably been corrupt for years. But now we got to publicize it. Yeah, now we got to publicize it so we can justify why we doing these things, so we can trick you.
Right.
So we justify, we said corruption. Then we knocking out all these NorCals, and you better take it right around your area.
Right.
We're knocking out all these NorCals, and we are knocking out all these projects. Where did the people go?
Right.
Where are they?
200,000 people go.
Where are they?
Right.
Now the Jews is coming in, and they buying up all these buildings. And they raising the rent, they raising it so they could get you out there, they could turn it in a condominium. Now we got very important people that are moved into the north. I heard that high-ranking people at NJIT that moved into north. They constantly moving into north. And you say, oh, no white people coming back. Oh, yes, they are. That's why they got that commissioner here in North. Because he's from New York. He's known as a corrupt commissioner, police commissioner. Yeah. But he here in North. What he in here? But nobody else had better qualification than him. That's because they got something planned. And people said they're not getting rid of the Crips and the Blood. Yes, they are. They get ready to close down Bradley Court.
Yes, they are.
So if they're closing out all these housing authority projects and they knocking down the new ones they just built, some of these places ain't 10, 20 years old. They knocking them down. So don't tell me they ain't getting rid of the gangs. And they putting up all these unaffordable houses. Where they going to sell drugs at? You understand? So their process is their plan is taking place. Now we're sitting back hoping that somebody is going to take care of us.
I think about what the Lord says now in the books. That one like a voice crying in the wilderness, making a call, and everybody's overlooking this voice. The Lord said this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Like John did, this is going to happen. I even said that Samuel coming again is a sign for people, the resurrected. The people today are by law taken with the gentrification, being passed, like you said. Then at the same time, they've been wooed in. And I see people walking around here with the, with the yarmulkes and the curls, and they're going and buying everything. And nobody bothering them. They added their surveying properties.
Walking all
over the city. I'm like, wait a minute.
Right after Booker got in.
After Booker got in.
The thing about it, we seen him before he got in.
Oh, yeah.
We knew what the plan was, but they went wild after he got in. Said, okay, it's open season.
It's open, it's blackface.
But let me tell you something else that I used to just cause to come in my mind. Right? Why are the black churches, these big churches in North, they revenue, they was fighting, one of the churches was fighting in court because they think the congregation stole millions of dollars. Why they ain't buying up this property? Because they done pacified them. They said, you can have this big, beautiful church here. You don't have to worry about taxes. Your congregation is going to give you millions of dollars. You and the people, the deacons and everything, y'all going to be set. You're going to be comfortable. Just preach the word. Why these churches ain't buying up these properties to house their people? They know their job is to bring us into the church, get us singing and dancing, screaming our hearts out for the Lord, knowing that they ain't giving us nothing but false information, and all they want is their tithes. And so we got these big, beautiful churches in North worth millions of dollars, bringing in millions of dollars a year, and they ain't brought up none of these apartment buildings. No, they're too busy rocking us to sleep too.
Can I say
Well, yes, sir.
Sure, sir.
Thank you. She shut me down.
I know.
I'm sitting here holding something, about to let it go, forget it. But what strikes me is the fact of the matter that the education thing.
Yes.
they raising property, but they're not raising education. And they building all these new educational buildings, but they're not building them for the downtrodden people.
No.
They going along, they like she said, pacifying. They building a little bit for those that are still here, which they're going to get rid of, but they're building for those that they're bringing into the city.
Yes.
They got plans. You know, one of the signs is when they started all the high schools being involved with the professionals, like medical and science, colleges and what have you. That was one of the signs right there. They never would educate African Americans in the United States of America like that. So they had, the plan was to make it appear as though they was doing that for the African Americans first. And now they're going to have their people come in. You understand? Now, this other thing about moving Crips and Bloods out, let me tell you something. I'm ex-military, ex-police, and I'm going to tell you this, and this is the truth. When they're ready to get rid of Crips and Bloods, because they are the employers of Crips and Bloods, don't tell me that they're not. The Gen is the one that, you know, the powerful people that's hidden in government, they're the ones that's making all the clothes blue or red. They putting the sports clothes blue or red. They changing these teams' colors, the professional teams' colors to blue or red or black and red. They don't mix up the colors. You understand? They're behind all this thing. They're the ones who are empowered to move the news that's going on throughout the country around. So they selectively move news about the Crips and the Bloods from California and different places to the different cities, so that the young folks would get this information. Where before you never even knew what was going on from North to West Orange.
That's right.
You understand? So, you know, I find it mighty strange that people would even believe that they can't shut the Crips and Bloods down. If they can shut down Iraq, Iran, or any other nation, Nicaragua, you gonna tell me they can't shut down a city of lowly, brain dead thugs whose highest aim is to become a greater thug? If they can put people like Jay-Z and Puff Daddy and make them top, you know, like Republicans and leaders, because they still choosing the leaders for the African Americans. If they could keep on doing that and bring people like Oprah Winfrey, the billionaires up in here, to you know, who really have no roots here, no connections, you know, except with the Gen, who she came to support. You understand? Then they have power to stop all this stuff. They always had the power. They're going to keep the power, and they're going to keep on manipulating the people. Now, let me just say this, and then you can go on. Some years ago, maybe 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, they start opening up avenues for people of this area to move to the Poconos. They was trying to seduce the well-off people, to African Americans, to move out and buy homes at lower costs in the Poconos. And people went running. They started advertising, oh, it's just a 2-hour commute and this and that. You know, beautiful homes, beautiful lands. And they was moving them out of there. And they was putting the lowly people into suburban cities that start allowing them, North suburban cities that start allowing them to come in, because they knew in their plan they was going to eventually put them back out, which these suburban cities are beginning to put them back out. Now, where are they going to go? Are they going to transport these people out to the Poconos, where some of their so-called middle-class elite people then move their homes to, or what? You know, look at Plainfield. Plainfield used to be a pretty good city. All them people moved out there. Look at the crime rate and what have you that went down up there. You know, so it's like you mentioned gentrification. A lot of our people don't know what gentrification is. But gentrification, people, is when a class of people are moved from place to place like cattle.
That's right.
Like sheep. You understand? They move from one place to live to another place to live, and they do it in a mass scale, like in Exodus. You know, now they have forced over 200,000 people out of Newark since the riots. They said the projects didn't work, but I see Academy Spire still up. I see the Colonnade still up. You know, I see other private large buildings still up. They ain't nothing but glorified projects.
There's a lot of projects in other cities, New York City.
Yeah. It's the same thing. So it was a scam. I myself was at a meeting, guarding it, but like the spook that sat at the door, had the door open listening. When the federal government came in to the University of Medicine and Dentistry, had a meeting in the library, and they was giving these $25 billion or whatever it was that they was giving them back in 81, 83, I believe it was.
Right.
You understand? With the plans for them to do what they're doing now. The past administration went through the acts of acting as though they were behind all this new development.
Right.
Because that's what figureheads do. They act like they behind, but they mess with the money, and that's why the government came in, and federal government came in and started smashing people out. You remember they was arresting people and locking them up from town City Hall because they messed up their money. They too. See, you get so used to stealing, finagling, and doing all your things. It's hard to stop that habit. So they mess with the federal government's money. But the federal government ain't going broke as long as they got you to pay your taxes and take your money and write new laws. And I think it's a very crazy thing that even with this prophecy, that people ignore how people can let a people, hire people to rule them that they can't fire.
Yeah.
Hire people to rule them that write laws. The rulers write the laws for the rulers. How ignorant, how foolish can the people be? And this is not just African Americans, this is across the board in the United States of America.
Let me just say this here, because I know that some of our listener audience is like, well, you can't say nothing bad because these people are trying and what have you. They want us to believe this.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, one thing about our people, once we make it, we're not looking back.
Right.
We may throw some crumbs around Thanksgiving time, Christmas time, but we're not looking back because we know that if we look back and get involved, we're going to lose what we have.
Because the ones who open the door for you to come through is going to snatch it, just like Oprah. Let Oprah start talking about truth and righteousness, true religion, and true injustices, and see how long she is the richest woman on television.
That's right.
Okay. Just like I have to point out this because our people ignore a lot of things. Our people is not taught a lot of things.
Yes.
In the Constitution, an African American person is only considered 3/5 of a human being.
Right. 3/5.
3/5. Now, every 25 years, we got to ask them, can we continue to vote?
That's right.
Who's the foreigner? Us or someone coming from another country?
That's right.
Because this is not really our land, and people just can't see it. This is not the Caucasians' land. They have taken this land by force from the Indians, and just because 200, 300, 400, 500 years has gone past, that don't change nothing with the Lord.
That's right.
These people are the descendants of people. That's why in the Holy Books the Lord said, for your evil I will curse you and your descendants.
That's right.
You see, and these people are still under that the law of the Lord, even though they are Satan worshipers, the Scientologists, and what have you. You know, this New World Order thing.
Yeah.
You know, they still under the divine law, and they will live and they will die by it. They will be executed by it when they pass on into the next life.
Now, how can you respect an African American politician who have not stood up to this Constitution and say, let's take away the law? African American people have been here long enough, have built built this country free.
Free labor.
We should no longer have to ask for the right to vote. But you want me to vote so we can keep asking for the right to vote. Why are we looking to these people for guidance? They're guiding us to hell. They're guiding us back to slavery. And if we don't take hold of what the Lord Most High is sending down to us, we are doomed.
Well, you know,
in this day and time.
You said something, I want to stop you there. You said they're taking us back to slavery. We are not away from slavery.
Right.
But she's talking about they're taking us back to a greater slavery. But by her saying that, she brought me into something that she and I talks about, how they're taking us into this form of Nazism, where they control us. That's what you I know you're referring to, where they watch everything you do. They creating laws called national security. Yeah, they're gonna take you to martial law. And the Lord said there will come a time when you won't be able to go across state lines or city lines without having passes, man. You know, they already putting the implants in people and in babies and what have you. Everybody got numbers to be identified, and they say this is all for security. Whose security?
Right.
You see, they're infiltrating your world. They have written laws, and these are the people that's hired to protect. They write laws so they can come into anyone's home and spy on them. They can come into anyone's home and take them away from their home for 6 months without acknowledging the fact that they've taken you.
That's right. They just passed that bill recently on the Bush now about the law for they can't interrogations and everything.
They haven't overturned it yet.
They're going to
It don't matter. It don't matter.
That's the front.
You talking about a people who have just did a coup d'etat, just taking over the presidency. They took over the presidency twice.
That's right.
Is they gonna take it over again? You know, and people want to ignore the fact that they threw out votes of the 3/5 of a man people in Florida and Ohio and probably other places that wasn't reported. But then you get our leaders who be telling our people now vote or die. It's crazy stuff, but that's for the young folks. Vote or die. They got these monkeys, these fools up there who they gave all these millions of them billions of dollars to, and then assign them to be our leaders.
They pushing people to vote, but not indicating what the purpose of your vote.
How you gonna vote for the devil? See, they want to get upset because, you know, people like us don't partake of that.
Right.
And they say, oh man, that's a shame. You don't vote.
You don't have a
Well, if Allah get on that panel, if the Lord Most High get on that panel, I'll vote for that. I'll vote for the Holy Lord of Lord. You understand? Oh, come on, talk for real. Well, the devil's on the panel.
That's right.
And the servant of the devil's on the panel, so you talk for real. Why should I vote for a devil, regardless of which side he's on, when I can't support with my soul and heart what they about?
It's interesting with the people, they pretend like they don't believe in the unseen, but they vote for the unseen because they vote for a lot of these politicians. They don't even know them. A lot of them, they don't even know what they're talking about, what their platforms, what their plans are. They vote for them because they're simply Democrat or
and see, the sad part about it is that you have crooks, you have charlatans, you know, you have these finaglers that's in office and they crying for the people. See what you done let in? Yeah, see what we done let in. See what they done let in. But look at what you was. And look at what you trying to do. You know, acting like you trying to stop gang violence, taking fake trips and honeymoons or vacations to California and acting like you really going out there just trying to get some information of stopping violence. Talk to some of these people that's really about violence over here. Right. Don't go to some old head who ain't been in the violent game for 20 years, but because they did something back in the 60s and 70s and made a name for themselves, you're going to go talk to them to educate us. You should be educated in that even before you get into politics.
That's right.
One of the problems with politics is this. Politics and police. You got too many people, good people, and when I say good people, let me rephrase that. You have too many people who have never had bad experiences in life. They did not run the streets. They was not treated bad. They were very well taken care of, educated, and then they become your police authority and your political authority, and they don't really know about hardship. You have fewer of them who have those types of hardships, and they come into police authority and the authority of politicians. Many of them come and find out that they've come into a gang. Greatest gang's a gang. You okay?
Yes.
A criminal gang. And they have laws and orders that they can't break. Politicians are thugs. They're gangsters. They're the greatest gangsters. They hire gangsters. They're the greatest gangsters in the world. But they suit and tie.
They wear the colors.
And they wear the red and blue.
And Democrat.
And they rule the world. Now you got a good guy. You got these guys who are afraid of criminals. They have never had a criminal background of any kind, because if you get a criminal background and you might become good at your criminology, they will never give you a chance to improve yourself and start over. Once a criminal, always a criminal. But they say something else, but we know the truth about that. So they get these good guys up in there, and they bring these guys to cities like Newark, where there's all these African Americans or Hispanics or other third world people or whatever you want to call them, and they be young Caucasians and they come in fright, but they still got that attitude. I'm gonna kill them if I have to kill them. They think arrest means to lock a person up. Arrest means to stop a thing.
Right.
You see, where they will arrest you or I, they will stop their brothers or sisters.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you